Welcome back to your 5-Minute Football Fix. I'm Steven Miranda.
I'm the other guy, Jeff Ellis, for Wednesday, January 18th, 2012.
Colts speculation is spinning out of control.
An ugly win for the Ravens leads to less than flattering talk from a teammate and a team leader.
Yeah, that I still don't agree with that, but okay.
All right.
We'll have a report to you from San Francisco from a good friend.
And we want to update our current Super Bowl poll.
Is that a poll again?
Yes, it's like poll sitting. I love it.
All right, well, first, the new Colts general manager, Ryan Grigson. This is Grigson.
No, it's Grigson. It's
Grigson.
Grigson. We don't know who this guy is. We know that he comes from the Eagles family. We know that Andy Reid is his buddy and things like that, but the guy is really young.
One thing we do know, owner Jim Irsay, of course, our famous billionaire tweeter, here he is with the guitar. He supports this move of getting rid of Jim Caldwell. I hope you support it. I mean, you are the owner of the team.
I got an observation here, Steven. So I have completed in the last month or so this book, Steve Jobs' biography.
Yes.
I'm starting to find more and more billionaires out there that seem to have read this book because they say, and stay with me here.
Yeah.
Big part of Steve Jobs' life is doing things based on intuition and just going with your gut and what feels right. And I'm hearing more and more from Jim Irsay, things I've never heard language before. So, like waking up one morning and just being inspired and having an inkling and a hunch and things. That's Jobsian language.
So you're saying that some of these billionaires, they're now reading Steve Jobs' book and saying, well, I am inspired, or this intuition that I have inside me
I need to go with it, because that's what Steve would have done.
Yeah, there you go.
And I really do think there's something to be said that. But, you know.
What would Steve Jobs do?
I don't know. But there won't be any Steve Jobs action figures, and for that, I'm very supportive.
For the Indianapolis Colts, though, they really do have to now figure out who their coach is. I mean, the combine and the draft here is coming up soon.
The Shrine game is this Saturday. It's just a couple days.
To have a head coach in
You know what happens a week after the Shrine game? The Senior Bowl, where the top senior prospects in the league come out and play.
And the fact that Irsay is on supporting this move, that's great. But the deal is you still don't know what you're doing with Peyton Manning and his injury. Is he healthy enough to come back and play? So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered for the Indianapolis Colts, and we hope that they can get them answered.
Well, okay, before we move on, the one thing that we do know for sure is that Peyton Manning, he is not going to know before March 3rd when he's owed that big fat check of $28 million.
Well, fortunately, never mind.
There's a lot going on in Indianapolis. They better get that figured out fast. Otherwise, it's going to be a long rebuilding process.
The Baltimore Ravens are in the AFC Championship game after beating the Houston Texans, but they did so in such ugly way that got people talking, and safety Ed Reed had some things to say.
Yes, he said that he knows that Joe needs to do better. And he says, quote, I think Joe is kind of rattled a little bit about their defense being the Houston Texans. And Steven has this to say. Well, I'll let the animal out of the cage.
Let me out of the cage, because what the media and even us here are kind of saying is we're taking this one line that Ed Reed said of a lot of things he said. You know, the offensive line needing to protect better, their communication needing to be better. There was a lot of things Ed Reed said, and not just Joe Flacco. But what does the media do? We take the Joe Flacco bit out, and we start, Ed Reed said his quarterback needs to play better.
His quarterback does need to play better. And I think that what Ed said is true. Yes, it may have been blown out of context. Joe Flacco came back today and reported in media day that he and Ed are good. There's no issues there, and so they're going to move along with that. But look, I think that Ed's right.
Well, I think Ed was talking about the whole team needing to play better. Not Flacco, yes, but everybody needs to play better.
Only way those guys are beating these guys on Sunday.
All 53 guys got to play better.
All right. I'd say the coach.
Joining us from the Bay Area, San Francisco right now, where it's not too hot but not too cold. Friend of the show.
Warmer than when we were there.
Be-all, end-all, 49ers reporter for CSN Bay Area, Mindi Bach. Mindi, is a big win for the 49ers and Alex Smith. Smith has come a long way with the Niners. How is he feeling right now about his decision to actually stay with this football team?
What's been difficult for him is probably not voicing his opinion, because I think he thought he was out of there last year, but this was it. You know, I'm leaving San Francisco. I know at the end of the season he really had the mindset that he was moving on. He was going elsewhere until Jim Harbaugh was hired. And he doesn't talk about that. He doesn't want to dwell on the past. and that's that same attribute. He just focuses on what he needs to do to be a good quarterback. So he's not going to dwell on what happened then, even all the disappointments. It's what made him who he is this season.
Wow. I think that's a lot of good intel about
deep.
that.
It's deep.
It is. I mean, she really knows this guy. She talks to him a lot. Now, Mindy, the 49ers' biggest concern, I'm wondering what the team's thinking about the New York Football Giants going into Sunday's big matchup.
They can't give up big strike of Eli Manning and those receivers. And Eli Manning scored 17 points in the fourth quarter against Green Bay. So that's their biggest concern is limiting those big pass plays to Cruz and Nix and keeping that passing game of Eli Manning somewhat in check. As they say, bend but don't break, cliche. But that certainly applies in this case.
Yeah, we agree with you there. They certainly can't let Eli throw those quick touchdowns or certainly Hail Mary touchdown passes.
None of that. Get somebody in front of the guy who's catching the ball. I'm done
Real
there.
quickly, the Super Bowl, most of our viewers want to see 40% say they want Patriots and Niners in the Super Bowl.
And that's what I think would be the best game, but I still want the Harbaugh Bowl.
Harbaugh, well, Jeffrey, if a Harbaugh wins and a Harbaugh loses, one of our listeners was kind enough to say that the
Huge
winner,
unfair advantage.
yeah, the other team who will have to play the winner in Harbaugh is actually going to have to play both the Harbaughs because they're going to team up and coach them up, and it's going to be good whatever happens. I can't wait.
We went really long again. That's what we do. It
happens.
Championship weekend.
It's playoff time, baby.
Playoffs?
I'm Steven Miranda.
Jeff Ellis.
For your 5-minute football fix. Out.